So the Premier Cup is set to start tomorrow. So here's a few tips and the rules basically. We need to get this out very quick because I've got a very sore throat. So it's going to be very quick. Make sure to watch all the rules over and over again to make sure you know them. And there's a few tips in here as well, like I say. So let's start the game. So the first new addition is this new speed thing. I can't think what it's called. I think it's called a movement modulator. The thing that gives you speed. There is a new rule to that. So since I've added this new thing, there's been a weird thing where it seems to run out every now and then. So it's not infinite anymore. So there will be breaks in World Cup games so you can re-get the speed. And then continue on with the match, but the match will be paused and there'll be a drop ball. So that's the first new thing. The second new thing is the crowd is now going to be added in most of the games. They're not a really relevant part, that's just one of the new things. In a few of the new stadiums we have throw-ins. I think this is only in this stadium and the one that's in the final. So this will be where throw-ins get taken on this side instead of it just going out and it being a throw-in. So there'll be a throw-in on this side and that side. Same with the final. As usual, this right line is to indicate it's gone out of play. As usual, the goal is there. Corner will be taken inside this area. Other than that, that's how the pitch works. Kickoff's now taken from the middle and not from the goal. Even if there's a goal scored, you start from the middle and you battle for it. And that's basically how the whole pitch works. And everything, penalties, free kicks. So let's actually get into fouls then, because there was a lot of controversy about fouls. There's still not a lot of people that know what fouls are. So forgive me to give you a very simple example of what the foul is. So if I have the ball here, my opponent is there, and I run into it, I win the ball, and I also hit the player back. That is not a foul because I've won the ball. However, say the ball is here, so it's not anywhere near the player. I've missed the ball, I've gone straight into my player, and Cash here is gone flying back. That is a foul. Now let's get into the sort of controversy of cards then. So yellow cards. If you do that more than 2 times, that is a yellow card. Obviously you can't be sent off. That's like the most pointless thing ever. Instead you'll just get a goal deduction if you do it. So 2 times is a yellow card, and then 5 times or more is a goal deduction for the next game. So you'll start the game -1-0. You'll only get a straight yellow off to challenge one if it's a goal scoring opportunity. So say I'm here and you hit me back, it will probably even be a penalty anyways on that position, or a free kick in a dangerous position. So in one of them, probably not the best place to give it away. Free kicks, they are now going to be taken a little bit differently now. So you cannot just continuously like have a free kick and just shoot straight away. You can only do that once per game. You have to wait for the goalkeeper to get onto his line within reason, as long as they have a reasonable amount of time. and you can take it short. So if you wanted to take a small touch and work your way to the goal, once you've taken that touch, you can come out, the keeper can come out and tackle you. Corner wise, no different. You can do what you want with a corner. The one thing I would advise is not kicking it straight out. I'd take it out wide. As soon as you've kicked that ball out that circle, the player can come straight for it. Within reason, your opponent can stand about here, that far away from the corner, so they can't stop you from taking the corner. Kickoffs, like I say, will be straight in the middle of the pitch. Now, okay, so now let's just get into the basic things. So no toxicity in the matches. I think that's very important. I think that's something we don't do. We don't enforce that enough. I think there was a little bit too much toxicity in the last couple of World Cups, so we don't want to do that this time around. No arguing with the referee. It's the ref's decision at the end of the day. You know, if he's got it wrong, he's got it wrong, you know what I mean? This isn't, you know, something where we can just turn to VAR and go, well, hold up a minute. No, we don't have the technology to correct ourselves. If we get it wrong, we get it wrong. It's not the end of the world. So don't just have a go at the referee, and don't... Another big one is probably don't just leave the world when you're losing or at the end of the match, you know. Have some decency, just say GG to your opponent. Don't just leave the world and, you know, do all that. Again, that links to my big one. Raging is absolutely banned from the World Cups. It's not going to happen. We're not going to enforce it. You know, like, we don't want to enforce this raging because it's getting out of hand now. You know, we've seen players like Alex Sade has left before because of raging. Man's done it before. Every single player has done it before, and it's getting ridiculous now. If you lose, you lose. Like, stop being crybabies over it. Just get over it. You can be annoyed. That's fine. It's the fact that raging is just getting ridiculous. And by raging, I'm not talking about shouting at the top of your lungs and getting really annoyed. I'm more talking about, you know, leaving the world, disrupting play and all that, and like leaving the world, saying you're going to leave the World Cup and kicking off and ridiculous stuff like that. That's just ridiculous. If you're losing, you're losing. Like, that's your fault then, isn't it? It's you that's losing, then you need to learn from that. Why are you losing? And if you feel something's unfair, you say it to the referee at the end of the game in a nice way. Oh, I didn't think this was right. I think that's something that has to be worked on there, but still. Again, another rule is probably have respect for your opponents. I think that's something we are definitely lacking at a minute. I think another one has probably got to be, you know, have a little bit of hope. You know, you might have a disadvantage in the game, but you've still got a chance to win it. And even if you're losing 4-0, just look at some of the weirdest scores that's happened in these World Cups. You know, you just never know. So just never give up in these World Cups, because you never know, and you could, you know, even if you lose, you can take something from the game. You know, what did I do wrong? With the amount of players that we now have playing the World Cups, you're probably going to play the same person twice, at least every 3 World Cups. So, you know, you've got to learn from your losses. And finally then, so as for fans coming to watch the games, it's still uncertain whether we will allow it, to be honest. It was an absolute nightmare with the semi-final with Man watching. That's just, I think that just sums it up. So I think footy was hard done by. I know Ninja's gonna say, well, so was I. I do feel a bit for 30 because he's been here a long time trying to get to the final. I thought he probably should have done. Without meaning to sound biased, I mean he kind of did. But for Batman's shenanigans, I think that completely and utterly just shambled the game for everyone. So I know he disrupted Ninja's play as well, but I do feel a bit for 30 to be fair. I think you need to focus in his position. I don't think he was able to focus. And I think that's pretty much summed it up though. Hopefully we see the returns of Ashley Young and DC and that lot in this World Cup. It's probably... It's hopefully going to be a good World Cup. The Cross Cup was brilliant. Probably up there with one of my favourite World Cups, I can't lie. Oh, and the final thing, the IO Gods will be making their return. After a few World Cups away, they'll be finally returning. So it'll be nice to have them back. And that is also, hopefully the Premier Cup is as good as I hope it will be. And it starts tomorrow.